Hello. If you're watching this video, we must congratulate you for your efforts to join the worldwide community fighting for clean air and against the air pollution. We will be assembling today a sensor for particular matters from the project luftdaten.info and its branch in Southeastern Europe, AirBG.Info. AirBG.Info. If you have ordered the parts from the shopping list at luftdaten.info or AirBG.Info at the section How To, you will end up with the following parts at the table in front of you. First, the little things. A atmospheric sensor BME280, which will be measuring the air pressure, air temperature, and humidity, a very important data to combine for the mathematical models. The NOAA PM sensor, also known as SDS011, one which is measuring the particular matters of the size 2.5 and 10. The Arduino controller Node MCU, which is an important part of the configuration. Its code is ESP8260 MCD, and it's the third version. Cable ties small, cable ties big, a hose for the particular matter sensor, cables 2x4, and a Marley 86 degrees pipes for the drainage, USB, micro USB to USB cable 2 or 3 meters, suitable to go through windows and doors, and at least 1 ampere of a charging device for the electric standard, which you have to USB. First, we are going to connect the sensors, the two sensors, to the controller. We need for this 2 sets of wires, better not connected, so we can follow the order of the cables when we attach them to the sensors. Attaching a cable to the pin is something which you want to do firmly and so it holds well. We will start with the sensor for the atmospheric condition BME280, and 4 cables, 4 pins. We will make them one after another and just make sure that they will be attached very well. The pin is not going to push out the connector. If you see a connector here, a piece of metal, try to push it back. If it doesn't go well one way, then you may turn it to 90 degrees and the result will be better. We need a firm click and a very good connectivity, so the electronics, when it goes inside, will not fall apart. Second, we will take the next set of cables. We'll take the left one. We'll look at the markings here. We're looking for the one on the very left, which says TXD, transmission of the information cable. We'll take the cable and firmly put it with a click onto the pin. Make sure when you put them that the cables don't go in between, creating a false impression of you that they have been connected. So be very careful. Second cable from the set goes onto the second pin, which is RXD. The third one goes to the third, which is GND, which is for ground. And then, attention, we'll miss the next one. And the fourth cable is going to go onto the fifth pin, where the marking says 5 volts. Here we are. This is the result we are looking at. Make sure it's well connected. Shouldn't go apart. So now is the time to connect these two sensors to the controller. Take controller in one of your hands. Look for the Wi-Fi module to be on the top, and from whatever is on your right hand side, look for the second pin, which has the marking D1. Take the Nova sensor, take the TXD cable, in this case green, so this will help, and firmly attach it to D1. Here we are, D1. Longer pins, a firm connection. Second one, RxD, is going onto right under onto D2. So here we are, D2. TXD on D1, RxD on D2. You see, the connection right now is not so good. We must press this, or just take it out once again. Make sure that the connector doesn't go out. I've just done a 90 degrees turn, pushing it to the pin, and it still doesn't work. And let's see. Let's do it nicely and carefully. Okay. Here we are. Now it is okay. Fine. The third cable, which says GND here, goes on to the left hand side at the second pin, which says G. And this is what we do, attaching it to G. The fourth cable goes on to the next one on the left side, which says VU. So 3V from here goes on to VU over here. So it is attached. The M sensor. Take the Atmos sensor, take it in your hands like this. Look for the one on the left. In this case, it's the brown cable. At the one end here, it says SDA. Take that cable, connect it to D3 here onto the right, just like this. Next cable here says SCL. It goes on to D4. In our case, it's a red cable which goes onto D4. Here we are. The third cable, which says GND, is going to go onto the G pin here, the one before the last, firmly attached. The last one, which says VCC, is going to go onto the 3 volts connector here, the very last one. So this is how it looks on this side. 4 and 2 on this side, and these 2 on this side. Be very careful when you connect those. The controller must be pre-flashed with its OS. Do not attempt to flash the controller now with these attached, because you will simply burn those. Or if you connect to electricity without the controller being flashed, this whole configuration is going to burn. So next thing is to attach the electronics all together using the cable ties. So the cable ties, we're taking the controller USB input on the external side, the Mundstück here for the air intake on the outside. We're taking a cable tie and carefully putting it underneath here on the other side. Very careful that it doesn't go through the cables, because we will now need to connect it like this. Before we start applying pressure, we may want to make sure that no cables here are catched in between, because if you start putting a pressure here and tying it, these cables and the electronics connected to it will not work anymore. So I'm applying some pressure here, so this is done firmly. Next step is that we cut this cable tie. With very carefully, just like this. Don't forget to recycle. Don't throw it in the garbage. We will need this recycled. Otherwise, it's going to go into the landfill. It's going to get burned very bad. Next, we need to attach the Atmos sensor. We need to attach it onto this hole here using this hole. Don't take it out because this size here is exactly this size here. So if you put something on the inside, on the outside, on the external, it won't be able to go out. So take it carefully like this. Take a cable tie, put it like this. Then apply a very little pressure. Make it without tension. You don't want to break the pins and the cables here. So it looks like this. You better stop. You may rewind. See once again. Let it be like this, where this thing can still move. You don't want to break with a lot of tension here. The right size is like this. Look at it. Ring for a little kid. This goes really tightly. Here we are, all together in one. Next thing we need to do is attach the hose into here in this way. This is also the size and the shape, a U-shaped station, the electronics, so this is good to be like this. Now, let's unwind the cable. The way it comes from the factory is going to create some spaghetti wiring. We don't like spaghetti wiring, so let's remove the spaghetti wiring. And the cable is now with my pressure. Take the micro USB part of it. Take the take it and put it inside, starting from this part with the rubber, and connect it like this. This is asymmetric, so you are supposed to be very careful connecting this. Time to put the electronics inside the pipe. Put just not more than an inch here. This stays like this. Take the one from the rubber part, put it very carefully, and put it all together. Okay? Before applying more pressure and putting the two hoses together, make sure that once again the electronics inside is horizontal, and then there is no pressure applied here at the part of the USB connector or here from where the hose comes. At the end of the day, it should look like this. If you have received your station through the AirBG project, put the sticker here, which is the ID of the station, and connect it like this. Otherwise, you'll take this number later on when you start, when you see the transmission of the station. E-charger, made in China. You want to make sure that it doesn't heat up, doesn't make any noise after it works for a while. So we're going to go ahead and connect it right now to the AC. On the next step, once the sensor is connected to your home AC electricity, and your phone or computer is connected to your local network, in this case the IFFO network, it is time to make sure that the sensor becomes part of your home network, uses it to broadcast to the internet. The steps are the following. If your sensor doesn't know the network and it cannot join it, it's going to appear here as Feinstaub sensor and then a 6 or 7 digit combination. You're supposed to make a screenshot, because this number is very important for the registration process, and then join that network. Sometimes the iOS or the Android will tell you that it's unable to join. You must be persistent and continue trying to log in. It might be warnings for unsecured network, like in our case, and sometimes the device will not be willing. Your computer, a Mac or Windows, might not be willing to join. Please make sure that you continue doing this. You may forget the network and start the process from all over again, but at the end of the day, you are supposed to join this network. And for iOS, there is a little mark over here, no matter that there is no internet connection. You are, however, connected. So now it's the time to open a browser, and on that browser we should type in the address 192.168.168.4.1, and this is the network. This is the home page of this sensor once it's broadcasting its own network. It will do a scan for the Wi-Fi's here, and from this list in blue you're supposed to take your own home network, in our case the IFFO. So here it is, appears as wireless LAN and then password. We know the password of our home network is just as every password, so it's 8 stars, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we press save. Later on the next page, which appears right away, is the configuration. Make sure that there are ones at the luftdaten.info and Madawi.info, the two servers we are broadcasting information. That the SDS sensor is present, it has 1, and the BME sensor is present, 1, and then there is automatic update for firmware and software. And we click the button here, back to the start, and all of a sudden the station is going to restart, and we'll try to join to the network, to the home network IFFO. You might need to wait for this for a while. A way to check it is to see if your phone is part of the home network. Scan for the Feinstaub sensor network. If you don't find it, obviously this sensor is not part of the home network. How to find this? I'm using Fing, a free application, out on the iTunes store. You can find it into the App Store of Apple, or you may find it within the hold on for a second. You may find it into the Android store. Here we are. We are looking now for our home network devices, and here is something which says Expressive. Okay, there's the router made by Huawei, a phone which is made by Apple, and the Expressive here, which is the name of this sensor. We select this, we scan for services. There is one service which is at port 80, the HTTP one. So let's select it after this thing is over here. And you're going to see your sensor, and the first line is going to say current data. And here we have 18 seconds for the first measure. We're going to wait together with you another 10 seconds and see if the station will make its first measurement. 3 more seconds. It says in Cyrillic, don't worry. And now we are supposed to see the first measurement. Scan for services. Arrive at port 80 as the only service, and by pressing the first line current data, we will see that current data is on. SDS is transmitting at its 2 values, and you have the temperature, humidity, and the air pressure as data here. Quality of the signal is here. So more or less we are ready. The next step is to register your station within the worldwide database, and for this you follow the following link.